I had it when I was a boy. My father gave me one of those air rifles. He said he'd rather I shoot at tin cans in the backyard, but that he knew that one day the temptation would become too great and I'd want to shoot at birds. He said I could shoot all the blue jays I want, probably knowing I'd never be able to hit one. But to always remember it was a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Jeff Daniels is back to continue our conversation about his life and his career. The actor's actor is currently starring as Atticus Finch in the critically acclaimed Broadway adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird. But we also talked about what first drove him to the stage and how he went from a small Michigan community to the big, bright lights of Broadway. How is it that Jeff Daniels decides that that's what I want to do? That on the stage there, because that's how you got started, that's what I want to do. How did that come about?
I'm not sure it's what I want to do now. I was told I was good at it, and I knew I was good at it. I knew it was something that came very naturally, how to be on a stage in front of 700 people, and you're Harold Hill and the Music Man, and you're Fagin and Oliver. You know what to do. You learn how to do and then when you have that audience, you know how to pull them in and let them out, pull them in. I knew how to do that at 16, 17, 18. Go to college, see how you do. Okay, and I did. Go to this other college, see how you do. Well, you're gonna go to New York. See, I kept waiting to fail miserably, enough so that, okay, I gave it a shot. Let me go back home. I'll work at my dad's lumber company and I'll have a decent life in this little town that I understand and know. I succeeded just enough along the way that it kept me in it.
So here you are, and you've got that instinct, you've got that ability, and yet you're saying to yourself, I'm waiting to fail. Is that something that as an actor, as a performer, sort of that drives you? The notion of, in some ways, a fear of failure at doing something that you know you're good at?
I don't think it was fear of failure. I think it was fear of fame. I didn't want any part of fame.
Now that I'm sure people would say that is really unusual, because most people would suspect that one of the things you're looking for is professional accomplishment and the fame that goes with it. But not so?
No, it was all, even back then, standing there in a musical in front of 700 people, it was about, as I call it now, between action and cut. It was about that speech, that song, that thing of working that audience. The curtain calls never land. It's something I watch, like watching television. I've never connected, I mean, I appreciate it, but it's never been about that. I was just also fatalistic about it, because the odds of any actor having any kind of career that lasts, not only a meaningful career. When you start to look at the Al Pacinos and the De Niros and the Hoffmans and the Alec Guinnesses and the Peter Sellers and the Alan Arkins and Jack Lemmons, and Dick Van Dyke was a young, what's he doing? That guy is a brilliant physical comedian. What's he doing, even at a young age? Those were the guys that I watched, that I wanted to be like them.
You came to New York as part of a program that had you doing everything with it. You were apprenticing. I saw you're moving boxes backstage and
running sound, house managing, cleaning toilets. Yeah.
But why do you think it was so valuable to start? Literally, you couldn't be more at the bottom than you were.
You appreciate when you do have those successes, and I climbed a ladder. I mean, as I was I was an apprentice at Circle Repertory Company off Broadway in 1976. And I was in the acting classes. I got in a play once in a while. But then I was house manager for the show. I ran sound for that show. So when you do get a supporting role in an off-Broadway play in your second year, it's not the leading role. You didn't get plucked and put in a movie at age 22. You did a supporting role in an off-Broadway play that got mixed reviews. So now you're playing to 16 people tonight on a Thursday night. And you're in that play for 3 months. And you're playing to that size crowd a lot. Not always, but then there were other times where it would Now you're playing to full houses because the critics liked this one. It was a climb. It was, so to go from the bottom and understand what that, and now you're on stage and you see that apprentice, you know, going in with the mop and the broom and the whatever and the bucket to clean the toilets, and you're going, you understand him or her, and you want to tell him to just hang on. In my case, I wish I'd seen that kid, somebody had seen that kid and told that kid that he might want to read To Kill a Mockingbird.
I was going to ask you that.
Today,
what would you say to that kid who was back there and sweeping the floors, and you know, at 21, coming from a small town in Michigan, now here you are in New York City?
I'd tell that kid, and any kid today, but I would tell that kid, you're doing it the right way. Because if it happens for you, if you get fame, if you get noticed, if you do something like an Atticus Finch or a Dumb and Dumber or Gettysburg or you name it, Newsroom, you'll appreciate it more because you earned it. You worked your way there. I had to stand next to people, movie after movie after movie after movie, who were making 15 million, and I wasn't. And they got the speech, and I didn't. And decades. I had my score. I scored. I did fine, but it wasn't. I remember Newsroom getting that Northwestern speech, and my first thought was, I've been waiting 35 years for this speech, and I'm not going to miss it. Throw the pitch, and that's what that day was. I walked on and just said, throw it, and we got it in 2 takes.
I can knock it out of the park. I can beat Ted Williams.
But it was that 35 years leading up to that.
I got you there.
It was that cleaning the toilets at 21, 22. Here's your shot. What are you going to do with it? You had to wait a long time. Probably ought to hit it. Probably ought to work on this one, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what you do. It teaches you to do the work. I can eat alive anybody who's just going to try to get in on their stardom and their fame and the thing they do that America loves. I will eat you alive on stage, in a film. I've seen Meryl do it. Yeah. I mean, she's like a prime example, role model, acting role model of someone who did the work, who understands the craft so well that if you don't bring everything you've ever learned and drop all the crap of fame and all that, she will leave you in the dust. And that, I remember working with her twice, and she was never mean about it. She just said, I'm going to become Meryl Streep now. Boom! And bang, it's like suddenly a pitcher throwing not just that fastball down the middle, but curveball, slider, knuckleball, boom, change, all in the same take. And when I could stay with her, I said, okay, that's what you need to do. And when you get around people who don't do the work, you need to eat them alive.
You talk about Michigan, and clearly it's been an important part for you to grow up, for your children to grow up. And as part of that involvement there, you started a theater company, Purple Rose, in honor of the Purple Rose of Cairo. Tell me what it does, and why was it so important for you to do it and to do it there?
Creatively, I was going to sleep. And this thing that I fought, I'm not really, people want me to do this, I guess, but it's what I do. I had come to this is what I do. It's what I'm supposed to do. I'm good at it. Why don't you create a theater and teach everybody what you know? Look who you've gotten to work with. Look what you know. And there's a 21-year-old kid that I used to be walking around that area who didn't have the Purple Rose, who didn't have a guy who had been there and had come back, said, here's what I learned from Meryl Streep. Here's what I learned doing Woody Allen. And so if you go to Chicago or LA or New York, you're going to know more than I did. I knew, because I had been through Off-Broadway, and a lot of the people at the Circle Rep, they're still in the business, but many aren't. They didn't get the breaks I did. And I have a lot of people back in Michigan who went to New York for 2 years, didn't get breaks, and went home. But they're good. And it's like, it's their Broadway. It's their opening night. And we work at a level that you could drop them in New York and they would hold their own because of the approach. Everybody's working from the same playbook. And the playbook is, this is what I learned in movies and at Circle Repertory Company. And so everybody's got the same approach, which is different than any movie. And certainly Mockingbird, we've got about 12 different acting approaches when we walked into rehearsal. We're all doing one now. But everybody is, boom. And that's the thing about having a company.
I can't let you go without talking about your music and your music career. And again, this might be something that even the rabid Jeff Daniels fans don't know about your music and your guitar. Tell me about how you got started. And this is not just a hobby. You've got 6 albums that have been done. You tour, right?
Yes.
And tell me about it. And why do you think people who don't know about it are surprised when they hear about what you do?
I bought a guitar, and when I moved to New York in 1976, I had done musicals, so I had taken piano, but didn't take to it. I wanted to learn how to play the acoustic guitar, and as I was going, I was hanging around playwrights off Broadway, and then the writing started to get interesting. I was fascinated by playwrights, not directing. I don't want to direct. Writing, and then I could go back to the apartment and write a song, and got better at it. And then you start hearing people like Doc Watson and Stefan Grossman, guys that we aren't just strumming 3 cowboy chords. It's like guys that are doing this. What's that? And so I just would sit in the apartment for, it was 25 years of it was like a journal, just write. It was a creative outlet while I waited for the phone to ring. Yes, you have an acting job. No, you don't. No, you didn't get it. No, you didn't get it. No, you didn't get it. You pick that thing up and you're okay again. And it wasn't until the theater company at Purple Rose that we were trying to raise money, as we always are. I got up in a bar and played a song. And no one at the theater, and we were 10, 12 years old at that point, nobody knew I could play. It was just something I did on the porch. And I played in this bar, and and they said, if we put you on stage at the theater company over the Christmas holidays, and you went out and played some of your songs, we could raise a lot of money, which then made it, now I'm in a flop sweat, But I did that, and I enjoyed it, and it was an extension of acting, an extension of being on a stage. There's no director, there's no editor, there's no studio, there's no marketing people. It's just you walking out with a guitar for an hour and a half going, can you hold them? And there's an art to that. It's been a joy to figure out how to do that.
Well, Jeff, I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure talking with you. And you've led a fascinating career. And I think there are a lot of messages and lessons in what you have done. And I still would like to see Atticus Finch done one time with Harry Dunn's hairstyle. It would be perfect. Jeff, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, Jack.